62 years in this desert, and nothing prepared me for her.
She said her name was Emma.
The sun was setting over the Arizona desert when 62-year-old Harold Mitchell noticed something strange near the old water tank on his property. He had been ranching this land for over 40 years, and he knew every rock, every cactus, and every shadow. What he saw that evening did not belong there. Harold squinted his tired eyes and pulled his truck closer. His heart nearly stopped when he realized what he was looking at. A small child, no more than 6 years old, was curled up against the rusted metal tank. Her clothes were torn and dirty. Her face was sunburned and covered with dust. She was not moving. Harold jumped out of his truck faster than his old knees would normally allow. He rushed to the little girl and knelt down beside her. He could see she was breathing, but barely. Her lips were cracked and dry. She had been out here for a long time without water. He gently lifted her into his arms and carried her to his truck. She weighed almost nothing. Harold drove as fast as he could back to his farmhouse, his hands shaking on the steering wheel. He kept looking at the rearview mirror to make sure she was still breathing. His wife Martha was standing on the porch when he arrived. She saw the child in his arms and immediately ran inside to get water and blankets. They laid the little girl on the couch and gave her small sips of water. Slowly, her eyes began to flutter open. She looked up at Harold and Martha with the most frightened eyes they had ever seen. She did not speak. She did not cry. She just stared at them like a wounded animal, waiting for the next blow to come. Martha spoke softly to her. She told her that she was safe now. She told her that no one would hurt her here. The little girl just kept staring. It was like she did not understand kindness. It was like she had never experienced it before. Harold called the local sheriff, a man named Tom Bradley, who he had known for 30 years. Tom arrived within the hour and tried to talk to the child. She would not answer any questions. She would not tell them her name or where she came from. Tom made some calls and checked the missing children reports from the surrounding counties. There was nothing. No one was looking for this little girl. It was like she did not exist in any official record anywhere. The doctor came and examined her. He said she was severely dehydrated and malnourished. She had bruises on her arms and back that were in different stages of healing. Some were old, and some were new. The doctor looked at Harold and Martha with sadness in his eyes. He did not need to say what they already knew. This child had been hurt many times before. Days passed, and the little girl slowly began to recover. She still did not speak, but she started to eat the food Martha prepared. She would sit on the porch and watch Harold work with the horses. There was something in her eyes when she looked at the animals. It was the first time they saw anything other than fear. One evening, Harold sat down on the porch swing next to her. He did not say anything. He just sat there and watched the sunset with her. After a long silence, he heard a tiny voice beside him. She said her name was Emma. Harold felt tears forming in his eyes, but he did not let them fall. He just nodded and told her that was a beautiful name. Emma looked at him for a moment. Then she looked back at the sunset. Over the next few weeks, Emma began to tell her story in small pieces. What Harold and Martha heard broke their hearts into 1,000 pieces. Emma had been living with her mother and her mother's boyfriend in a trailer about 60 miles from the ranch. Her mother was sick with addiction and rarely noticed Emma was there. The boyfriend was cruel and violent. Emma learned to hide when he came home angry, which was most of the time. One night, things got very bad. Emma heard screaming and fighting. She hid under her bed until everything went quiet. When she came out, her mother was gone. The boyfriend told her that her mother had left and was never coming back. He told her she was worthless and no one would ever want her. Emma lived in fear for months after that. Then one day, the boyfriend put her in his truck and drove her into the desert. He told her to get out. He told her to start walking and never come back. Then he drove away and left her there alone. Emma walked for 2 days. She had no food and no water. She did not know where she was going. She just kept walking because she did not know what else to do. When she found the old water tank on Harold's property, she could not walk anymore. She lay down and closed her eyes. She thought she was going to die there. When Harold found her, she thought he was going to hurt her like everyone else had. She did not understand why he picked her up so gently. She did not understand why Martha gave her water and wrapped her in soft blankets. She did not understand why these strangers were being kind to her. Harold sat in silence after Emma finished telling her story. He could not speak. His throat was tight with emotion. He looked at this little girl who had survived things no child should ever experience. He saw strength in her that many adults did not possess. Martha came out to the porch with tears streaming down her face. She had been listening from the doorway. She sat down on the other side of Emma and put her arm around her small shoulders. Harold finally found his voice. He told Emma that she would never have to be afraid again. He told her that she had a home here for as long as she wanted it. Emma looked up at him with those big eyes that had seen too much. For the first time since Harold found her, she smiled. It was small and hesitant, but it was real. The legal process took many months, but Harold and Martha eventually became Emma's foster parents. They later adopted her officially and gave her their last name. She became Emma Mitchell. Years passed and Emma grew into a strong and kind young woman. She went to college and became a social worker, helping children who had experienced what she had been through. She never forgot the day the old rancher found her in the desert. She never forgot how he carried her to safety and gave her a life worth living. Harold passed away at the age of 81. Emma was holding his hand when he took his last breath. She told him thank you for saving her life. She told him he was the father she never had. Some people come into our lives exactly when we need them most. Harold Mitchell was that person for Emma. He taught her that kindness exists in this world, even when everything else has been cruel.